Right, so week 4 JavaScript second set of challenges on here. And as you can see, this is actually on Tuesday. So normally our work falls on Monday and Thursday, but because it's a campus holiday, it'll fall on the 5th. So just as a reminder, and I'm just going to double check that to make sure that is actually what I did, because I know I did it for all my other classes. And if you're not using the calendar, I highly recommend it. Okay, so here we are. I'm actually recording the week before this is due, and sure enough, right, so we have a campus holiday on Monday. Okay, so and if you're not using calendar, again, I highly recommend it because the academic calendar, and you can add that if you don't have it. If you want to know about that, let me know, is really helpful. So on this second set, I think I've only had one student submit it, so it's not too late for me to go over this. And my apologies, I was incorrect. It's so funny because I was talking to one of the students in this class, and in my head I had it right, but when it got to the keyboard, it was wrong. But I want them in descending order, okay? And honestly, there's a fundamental reason why. And it's so that you can easily go and find the item that you've left off and pick it up from there. And here's what I mean by that. And we'll look at this one specifically in a minute. But because these things are not numbered, it is hard sometimes to figure out, oh yeah, where was that? So if you know the last one that was on, you can also, by the way, do a find. For my Mac, Command F, when Apple F, no, Command, yeah, and then you can find where you left off in that case. Okay, so that's the reason I asked for that in that order, just honestly to make it easier for you and I to know by looking at that. Okay, and it seemed like most of you got the format that I was looking for. I will say, and I can't even remember, I apologize, who brought this up to me was, and this is the one I did over the summer, is they were saying about the escape sequences and I was looking at mine and I was trying to remember why I didn't have it. So like as an example on 43, let me come down through here on 40, I'm going the wrong way, 43, oh I could have done a find in that case, right? So here where it has an apostrophe on, and this is what I believe is breaking anybody who may have this, right? So the reason mine didn't break is that I put double quotes around it. Now I could have done it either way, but I ended up putting double quotes. And now here's the thing you can always check, right? So that's why, and I'm going to talk about this index file in a minute, but that's why I always recommend before you submit, you run your server, right? So that's part of the reason I'm running my server from my directory, bringing up that index file, and then when I go into my item, I make sure it is working, and then I can look at to see if if it's broken. And so I can see in here that it's not necessarily broken. I mean, it may not be the way. Anyway, it's not. And here's what broken would look like. Let me be clear about this, okay? So let me be clear. So let's look at that one I was looking at, right? So right here, if I was to take off those quotes, right? Refresh the page here, right? And then go look at that same one. Anything from thereafter would be all in green, and that's not the way that pretty code, isn't that what that's called? Pretty print is basically saying you've broken what I need as far as escape sequences, which is covered right here, right? So however you want, I want you to clean this up. So if you had it happen in the first section, clean that up. If you've already, I'm going to email the one student who's already submitted this, so just make sure that you don't have that and you've made sure that all your items are formatted as far as pretty code, prettify in the way that makes sense, right? The way that makes sense. So I'm going to go ahead and include in this item also the video from last week, but then I'll record the one I'm doing here just so you have both if you want a reference there for, you know, what I talked about last time. And just to leave you with this concept in this video, if you don't read Quora, there's a great article about the question, people post questions and then people that are kind of the trendsetters or very popular, often will post answers that get voted up, and so it's kind of cool. And this one is because I watch MPJ a lot. And why is JavaScript the only client-side language available? So if you want to go to Quora and search for this, I think it's worth a read about why JavaScript is there. And it's not that it's necessarily the best language. It's just like I would say with the same thing of Windows. Windows is not necessarily the best operating system, but it's the most popular, and therefore it is hard to replace it. Although there are strides being made, right? Okay, so that's it. I'm going to go ahead, finish this recording here, and then I'm going to now, if I have time, do the next one this week. So have a great one. See you later.